Okay, so for today's class, what we want to do is to go through the process of finalizing your SBAs. After you would have had everything, you will have done everything, now you need to present it in the format of one booklet with all of your sections for Microsoft Excel, database, word processing, the website, the fillable form, the programming. So we're just going to go through the process of how do we do that. To start off, what I'm going to do is to show you a sample of what a completed SBA looks like from students of last year or the year before. And they did a very similar project to the one that you're doing this year. I think I showed that to you before already, but I'm just showing it to you again. This is what they have, it is in PDF format. And they went ahead and, apart from submitting the Excel file and the database file and so forth, they did the extractions, their solutions, and they placed it in Microsoft Word and saved it as a PDF for presentation, as a booklet. So they will have their cover, the table of contents, and well, an acknowledgement, as you have in all of your other SBAs, and an introduction. This introduction comes from the SBA itself. There's an introduction on the SBA that you can use. Just follow suit, and it would give some guidance as to what you have. Just a description of the SBA that you're doing. Now, the spreadsheet part, in this case, most likely they took a screenshot and they placed it there. This is their table, so you can just go through and see the end result. All of those, you literally have all of those already. Some of you submitted those portions to me, so I know that you have those. One of the important parts they have is the formula sheet. And we'll show you how to get the formula sheet because we have to be able to see the equations that you used in your Excel, and the charts, the graphs. And then after they finish with that, going on to database now, and they will show you the various parts in the database. We are going to be just going through, showing you how to do basic. The query, the queries, the reports, all of the parts that are needed, all that the SBA asks you to do this, do that. In this case, the mail merged, the data source, and this will be the mail merge letter itself, because you can notice, you would notice that in the mail merge, you actually see in the space, the merge fields. So this is not the merge document, this is the original letter with the table, those that are supposed to receive commission. And the data source from the database, this would be the merge letter, or letters. I guess it's about 3 of them, and they have the 3 of them in there. Then they went on to do their web page, and it's just a matter of taking the screenshot of your web page and then the fillable form, then the problem solving part. I think, Jaya, that's the part you say remaining to do.
Yes, sir.
And this file, this exact file, I uploaded it, it's on the, I'll do one of the students. Hold on a while, Jaya, it's Miss Valmo. Hi, Miss Valmo, how are you doing today? Oh, morning. I'm just trying to determine if you have classes with
So your mic muted, I think. Kind of hear anything.
Hold on while, Jaya, just a while. So, so students and general, the document we just had a while ago, this is the document that explains all of what is required. So you will see, to show you have your cover sheet. It's the same as the sample we just had, but in this case, I actually went on to this document details the things you'll have to put, your formula sheet and all of those factors that you have to put into the document itself. What makes up the document? It's not much, but it just shows you what makes up the document, and that is available, required SBA document. It is available here. The sample is here, the required SBA document is here, the SBA itself is there, so you can get the introduction and so forth. And then we went on to submit to you, or for you to be able to see itself, the MAC scheme, because the MAC scheme gives you a very good idea as to what you get in marks for. So if you know you do not submit certain things, then you know you're going to lose the mark here. So for your correcting the definitions, I'm not going to go through it all together, but you can literally see what you're getting graded for. So you would ensure that well, it will help you to understand why certain parts of your SBA have to be reflected in your final documents, because we would want to see a link to different sheets. That is where your formula sheet would appear. We would want to see your filter and your VLOOKUP, and for your database, your queries. So it's details for you, and it's easy to get marks, because I mean, in this one, any of the following 4 features, and you will get a mark. Any place you have a bowl, a center, a line spacing, all of those add up and you can get possible 4 marks. So it's easy to get marks, but you just have to ensure that in your final product, you have the information that was requested in this. Because if you put all of those and you have done them right, then those are actually if you submit those, then, and you have done those right, then you would most likely get the marks for all of this, for your primary document, for your web page, because the web page that we did would have all of these. So as long as you submit the web page, you'll get all the marks for your web page, for your programming and so forth. Any questions, Jana?
No, sir.
All right. So now what I want to do is to just show you and the other students the basic and easy method to go through to create your final document. What I would suggest, there is actually in our programming from well, before exams, we actually had an algorithm. And I'm going to suggest even starting with that document, make it easy for you because that was a document I submitted, I uploaded for you all. So if you start with this one, it already has some of the algorithm is there. So instead of even starting with the Microsoft Word, on the mother phone, what is happening? So instead of starting with Microsoft Word and the introduction, you can start anywhere in the document. So let us say we start with this. With this, and I'm also keeping close by the required document. So I'm keeping the two of them open. And it would mean that we already have the algorithm. So seeing that we have the algorithm, we know we need some test data. We need the trace table, the programming code itself in Pascal, and the label. So we could go ahead now and literally incorporate those. I'm going to put I have the algorithm, the test data. The test data, we have a trace table. When we did the class, I literally had this trace table. So I now have the test data right here. What I'm going to do, the program I'm using is this, Snip. I like using Snip because Snip can make anything you have on your screen, snipping tools, anything you have on your screen, you can just take a screenshot, well, partial screenshot of it. You can actually choose the area that you want. So by doing this, I can literally take my test data. I copy this, and what I want to do is to put it, I know it's supposed to be somewhere at the end of my document. And because you could literally label it as your, well, most people would label it at the front of it. Test data. Then after the test data, we're supposed to have our trace table, and the trace table is right here. And as I said, this is things that we did some time ago. So for the students who are just watching the video, notice that, well, the recording is here because we did that on the 19th of March. So you can check the recording when we did the programming part of the SBS. So from the trace table now, I'm going to use the snipping tool again. Take new on the snipping tool. I'll drag it away a little bit. So because what I want is to capture the trace table. Copy the trace table because there's a copy and snipping tool. And we want to paste it beneath here. One of the good things to do is to let your margin be as minimum as possible so you can get more space to do almost everything. Good. So this is here, and this will be our trace table. Increase it a bit because bigger it is, better it will be on the screen, and you're not going to print, so it's not going to be really outside of any margin. And with everything, you need to label it trace table. And you'll take your time and format those neat and good. Ensure it formats them. Different students will have different formatting. They'll probably have colors, whatever they want to do to identify the various parts. After the trace table, we're going back to, notice I'm going back to the document to see what. So we have algorithm, test data list, trace table. Now we need the program code. In our program code, I have my program here. I'll open up my program, and in it, in the program, should be able to simply copy everything out from Microsoft Word. That's after you have, normally when you paste it, it comes up kind of separated on a number of pages altogether. But I just clicked copy. So I copied it. And back to Microsoft Word, most likely would want it on a page by itself. You can type Pascal code. Or if you want program code. Okay, I think it will take pages upon pages upon pages upon pages upon pages. That's understandable. Normally, if you were printing, you try your best to decrease the spacing and the space to try to get it to occupy less pages. But because we are going to submit electronic format or electronically, the number of pages does not really matter because you're not printing. So far we have all of this. We have our program code. Now we need to do the print screen. So you would run your program. You run your program using the test data that you have, because these are my test data. Let me see if I can just bring it aside a bit. Just a while, somebody, a student's probably messaging us. All right, I got some students saying that they're not feeling well, so they cannot join the class today. So we have our test data. This is our test data that I'm going to use. I'm dragging it onto the other screen. So as I run the program, we actually did that in our previous, when we did the programming session, but I'm going to just do it for you to see. So we're running the program. I would take a screenshot of this. Instead of using screenshot, we can use the snipping tool. So use the snipping tool because we want to show a screenshot of the screenshot of the program as it's going along. So we have here program screenshot. Trying to remember. Where's the first one? And you'd label it started screen or startup screen. Back to the program. Press enter, and I'm going to start entering names. So Patrick, and I'm entering names based on what? Based on those that are my test data. You will have your own test data, so you have to use your test data. $10,400. There would be a good place to take a screenshot also as to what your input screen looks like. We'll take one. 9, 5, 4, 6. Then I'm going to just take a screenshot here because I want to show the input screen. Copy. The screenshot there also. I'm just, because they're not going to run your program. They will use this to verify or to see what your program looks like. So the need for us to simply go through. Yes. 1D. 6,366. Okay. Yes. Of course, because I took one screenshot of here, you do not need to keep on taking. 13,040. 57. So, last one. Please do not make the mistake and use the same data that I'm using. You have your own test data, so you have to use your test data. I'm on the last one now. I press no. So this will be the output screen telling me how much it is, who got the highest, and so forth. I will take a screenshot of that also because I need it to show what is going on. So let us just copy this. Good. Let us see if there's any final. I do not think there's any other screen after this. No, we do not need to really take a screenshot of this. So we would have all of these. We would have all of these. And with all of these, we'll be able to go through and have, actually, that's the end of thinking of it. That's the end of the programming section. One part we'd have to have before that is the program description, because you have to give a descriptive statement as to what it is about. And you get that, you just formulate it from within. What is it that your program is going to do? The best place to get information for that is from the SBA itself. From the SBA itself. It's just a description of your programming section. So look at that. Anything you required, you can say, well, I'll copy all of this because this is what your program is going to do. But that would have been all the way to the top, even before your program statement. The program or this program no, you don't want to say develop an algorithm and so forth, because it's what your program is going to do. So this program calculates it calculates the commission, the number of consultants, like the basic thing that your program will do. The way we had it from before was almost like a question, but now you're saying that this is what your program you have can do. So you're not going to pose it like, please write a program to do this and to do that. And of course, if you wanted, it could have been on a separate line, but for here, you'll have to indicate algorithm. And I'm not making them larger, but it will be good for them to be standing out so people can see that that is the various sections. Good. Now that we have all of this so far, we literally have the programming section completed. And the reason we got it completed is because we had it already. We were not doing the programming right now, so it's not a good idea to, while you're doing the programming, trying to do this. It's better to finish your SBA, and now you're just packaging it together as the presentation. You're presenting it to get it to go through. Now, a good thing to do at this point, so let me just put an entire blank page. Seeing that we have now our programming section here, we are going to go all the way up to the Microsoft Word and so on and so forth. From the sample, I'm going back to the sample. From our sample, we know we need a cover sheet. All of those can go last. The cover sheets can be done last, the table of contents last, because you'll have to really put in everything first, then to find out where they are located on which page, then you can do that. It would mean that in your document, you'd want to have some form of page numbering. Even if you do not do it right now, later on, you would need to put a page number, either as a footer or better as a footer, the introduction and so forth. All of those you would do personally. So I'm going to go straight to the spreadsheet section. Notice the format the students use, made it kind of bold to stand out, so that when they were going through, instead of what we just did and just made it simple, we kind of made it possible so the person can see the various sections, the screenshots, to make it stand out, because it's actually labeling the various sections. So they didn't just use ordinary things like what we have. So when you're going through, I'd expect you to fix up your labeling to make them be more prominent. Good. So we're going to the spreadsheet, and I'm going to quickly show you how to do the spreadsheet part of it. Spreadsheet. And of course, to do the spreadsheet, you would have to have your spreadsheet. Because as I'm saying, we're just reporting that which we have done already. So in our spreadsheet, we have first the payroll section. Let me see if I can narrow it down a bit. And even if you can, there are some cases, especially when it comes to Microsoft Word and Excel, that copying and paste can work very easily. So in my case, I'm going to just copy this because I know this is what I want. I'm going to copy it instead of even using a snip tool. I can copy it, go over to here. And when I right click, I'm going to take paste as a picture because I want it to show up and fit in properly. If I take paste as the others, it's going to come out like this. But I want paste as a picture because I'm really just presenting it. And notice how it fits perfectly. If I try to use the snip tool for this, because it has to scroll up and scroll down, I would get problems with the snip tool. One of the things you can do when you're doing it in Excel is to make the menu, hide the menu, so you'll have more space. If you hide the Excel menu, you'll have a little bit of more space, but you can see sometimes it's not there. What you can also do there too is to decrease the zoom. Because if you decrease the zoom, then you'll most likely get most of it. And if we had it like this, a snip tool would be able to work in this case. And snip tool would have function. So even for the next one, I'm going to try to use the snip tool, but I just showed you how to use copy and paste as a picture if you want it. And for this, if we want, we can use the snip tool because that section would have to be part of it. So I'm going to take new. I'm using the snip tool. I'm even taking the margins, the rows and the headers. And let me take a little bit more of the rows and headers. So when they're looking at the equation, they can see where we got our information from. Copy. And paste it beneath here. Mine is laid out like this. Others may have a different. Then there is so go ahead and do all of the others. And just a while, let us get to okay. In order to get the formula sheet, and I'm highlighting it, I want you to see it. When you're in Excel, in order to switch to the formula sheet, you have to press Control and approximation symbol. This one, part of the approximation symbol. So we're going through, notice we're going to use this to switch to formula sheet. And let us go to our, so while we're in here, in order to see the equations behind of this, if we click, we can see the equations up here one by one as to what were the equations that we use. But for the moderator who is checking out the CXC SBA, they do not just want to see the numbers because you could have just typed the numbers there. They want to see what is the equation that you use. When they do use VLOOKUP or whether you use if or things like those. So we need to switch to formula sheet, hold on Control and press that button and notice it switches to the formula sheet. Now this formula sheet is so wide across the screen. We normally have to narrow things down a bit because the formula sheet tries to put the width and some of the formulas are so long that makes it kind of difficult to fit on a sheet. But we open it up as much as possible. And in this case, snip would not work. So I'm going to use copy and Control and paste it as a picture. So Control and copy. Go back to Microsoft Word. I have my document. And it's better to right click and take paste as a picture. It's going to come out very small, but there's nothing better we could have done. The only thing would be to take the copy part of it, paste it, and then go back and copy another part again and paste it. So it will be one under the other. But this works because you're also going to submit your file. So if they need to verify that you have the right formula, they would go and they would open the real Excel file and see your formula there. But this is just a summary of your formula sheets. And of course, you'll do the same for, I'm going to jump to graph because we get into 1 hour video now. So you have copied all of the others that it asks you to copy, all of the summary and everything. And when you get to graph, you would also copy your graph. Pie charts. Snipping tool is sometimes better to do this because it can take everything and just give you a graph as it is being displayed on the screen. Sometimes when you use copy and paste, it changes the format. So I paste it. So we have a graph. And of course, you will do it for all of the others, even what you have to export and so forth. We want to jump over now to database. I'm going to say do not save because I do not want, especially when I did my formula sheet, I had rearranged the columns. I want to take do not save so that when I submit it, my work is still looking like it was supposed to look originally. Any little change I made during the copying and pasting, I really do not want to save that to ensure when you do submit it, your work looks okay. And of course, all of those would have headings. You have to put headings for each one as you saw in the sample, but we're going along quickly. So the other one is the database itself. I think I have to go back to my SBA. In the database, the required documents for our database, and you'll see all of the documents required here for your spreadsheet. We did some of those, we did not do all. We're leaving the others for you to do. In the document, the content of each table, the screenshot of the relationship, the table and the view, the forms, the reports, and so forth. So for the database, I'm going to just do for one of them. Let us just say employee. I want to take the screenshot of the employee, so I can use my snipping tool. The snipping tool is, as I say, makes it easy. And so that to take the column headers, the fields, and I'm copying this and paste it. But I want you to see that after you have everything, you just need to, and of course, there will be a big section that's in database to indicate that you move from spreadsheet and you're now doing database. You can refer back to the sample. So this is how we'll get this part of it, the table. But beneath the table, or if you want even before the table, it would be good for you to display also I'm not good, it actually require that we display the design view. So you could see what the table structure looks like, the design view, this part, and we use another snip. Let's take another snip of this, the design view. So the different field types would be available for the moderator to be able to verify that your table structure is okay. And you'll do the same for all the tables. Then we are going on to the form view. Well, the relationship and the form view. For the relationship, you simply bring up the relationship on screen. Database tool, the relationship, and you use the same snip tool. Some of them I'm skipping through, but you use the same snip tool because you just want to indicate you want to display or submit a picture of the relationship in the database. And you do the same thing for the form. It requests the form view. Okay. And you'd have taken a snip of this also for your form view. And then for your report, you would go through and take a snip of it. So try your best to get your report copied out and placed into Microsoft Word. For the report, I think people copy the report. Let's see that it works. Okay. Oh, yes, now I remember when they're in the report that I've always been save and export, export to PDF, export selected object, rich text format to Word. Okay, that's the best one. So for students, just bear with me, we are looking for this report. You could do snip and just copy the top, but there is a method in which we can export all of it. These are the imports. Export to PDF. We can export it to PDF. So you can export it to PDF and then import it in or export it to one of the rich text format, or just take a snipping tool and snip a piece up here, then scroll down, take the snipping tool, snip another piece and paste it in. I'm trying to make it simple. So the snipping tool is easier. Use the snipping tool compared to what I was just trying to do. So use the snipping tool and let's say, okay, I'm reaching to here. So you know you have to here with your snipping tool. Yep. Just on the sum and you copy. Then where we are. Most likely you want it on the page by itself. Paste. We'll go back to snip again, but we know we stopped here, so let us just scroll along a bit. And we need to snip some more. Sometimes I wish when we were snipping, we could snip and drag. Let me see if we cannot snip and drag, because that would make it so much better. If we could actually snip more than the screen. No, it doesn't allow us to snip and drag. Nope. So you snip. So we want to snip from beneath here to go through. So I'm going to click on another snip because we know we took it from here so far. You understand, Andrea?
Yes, sir.
Right. The report have always been the one that can give a little bit of a problem in terms of exporting it and bringing it into Microsoft Word, because the reports tend to be on more than one page, or let us say pages. In this case, I'll show one on the screen. It's a couple of screens, and it haven't got a zoom at the bottom to say we can make it small and then snip it or take a screenshot of it. So we are going to do it in pieces. We did the top of it. Now we are doing another part of it. And hopefully we click here and it will come up. It will almost join together, looking like it's the same one report, but actually this is one up here. And this is another beneath it. Actually, I made the mistake because you can see that 8,000 here. I was supposed to start on this one. So one of the things we could do, there's also a little cropping, something called crop. We could use crop and drag it down to this one. So now it fits better. The 8,000 and so it now looks like the full report. That is the full report, but we could not get it as one picture for the students. We had to do it as two snips, and we just join them together. And of course, you go over to your mail merge. Trying to get to the end quickly. We'll go over to your mail merge. That's the mail merge. We had the merge letter, we had the invitation, which is the first part. So we want to take this first. This we should be able to. I am literally zooming it down so that I can literally use the snip. Because it can be zoomed, then snip would work. Try to take as much of it as possible. And copy it across to our document with the various headings and sections and so forth. So this is one part. And you would do the same for the merge letter and for the data source, as you see in the sample. Then you go ahead and so you bring across everything related to that. Then there's a fillable form. Quotation, I have it saved as quotation request. You'll do the same thing, copy your fillable form and paste it over so that it will be part of your document. Where's my snip tool? I think it has some further along at the bottom, but I didn't take all, but you'd copy it and paste it. Because these are the same procedure going over and over and over. So you want to paste that. In our case, you would want to paste it with everything. So it might be, well, it will be necessary to zoom because it has some words at the bottom. And as I said, when you're doing it, if you want, you can remove the menu so you have more space. So actually get a clear picture and go ahead. After you have done that, so you have done the mail merge, you have done the merge letter, the data source, you'll do everything. What you're actually following is this document, but this will tell you all of what you have to capture in your PDF final documents, the fillable form, the merge letter, the web page. For the web page, you'll be able to do something similar to what we did for the report, because the web page shows up on more than one screen. So you have opened your web page. Of course, it will have been. It will have opened up in a browser. I'm not sure we just have it in the browser for you to see. Save as. Okay. Now web page is simple. Some of you have a nice black web page, which is good. The web page is supposed to be looking like a Chrome or Internet Explorer icon. And it should open in such. So mine would open up like that. And because it open up in a browser, then it would be necessary for me to scroll up and down to see all of it. So I would use the snip tool, copy some, then go back again and copy the balance of it and paste them in the document. I think that is the last thing we're supposed to do. So let me just quickly do it here to see. Nope. And in most cases, because I know I'm just using my snip tool and it's just report and reporting. Any change I did made, it will ask you to save, always click no, except if it is something you did intentionally, you made a correction at the last minute, then you would save it. But while you're copying your work and putting it in the PDF, if you made minor changes, changing the zoom and so forth, and it asks you to save, always click no, because the changes you made was just to facilitate copying and pasting it. You want your work to look as you had it formatted originally. So we are here, and I want to take the snip tool to copy the website. I will copy, let us say, up to this line. It's easy to copy up to a particular line, so I know that when I come back, I just have to do from package, go down, copy, and did I really tell it to do not save my document I was doing a while ago? It's possible. Okay, it's possible that I told it do not even save my document, but I'll copy and paste. And as we go through, we would get, based on this, we'll ensure we have everything in there. We'll go ahead now and put our, get to the final. Go ahead now, because we would have all of this. It would have been in Microsoft Word initially. After you would have put in everything, you go ahead and format your cover sheet. Go ahead and put in your table of contents. It would not have the numbers as yet, but you would put in your tables of content, your table of content based on the different things that are supposed to be there. And your acknowledgement, as we said initially, your introduction, and then your SBA would start off. After you have everything in there, the last thing you would really need to do is to go back and look at the pages and put in page numbers to the appropriate field. It would be good when it is necessary for you to ensure that you have a footer that have your page numbers. Note how we do the cover. It's actually the sample have it properly as to what you're supposed to have on the cover. The student's name or candidate's name, the candidate's number, the teacher name, the center, the school center number, submission date, the territory is Commonwealth of Dominica. But all of this, you have it on, all of this is here. All of this is in your Google Classroom. So you literally can go back and see the sample, the required documents, the SBA, the MAC scheme, so as to finish your work. We have until it is due on April, it is due on Tuesday coming. So it's Tuesday. So on Tuesday, I'm expecting you all to, by Tuesday, if you can do it before that, Jaya and others, please submit so that we can go through and correct everything. to ensure that your grade go up. I know that it's a challenge doing SBAs, computer science SBAs online. Normally we'll be in our lab working together, trying to get it done. Some of you have mentioned that it's a phone you have doing SBAs, but as I have done previously, so encourage you to at least use somebody's laptop, even those who are at school have been given to you for you to get it done. But we must finalize the SBA and submit because our deadline have passed, but I'm trying my best to work with you without putting too much pressure, too much strain. But somewhere along the line, I'm hoping that you can understand. We must submit. We must submit. And even if we make way for other things, because I know you have a lot of things doing on your plate, but I need you to submit by next week, Tuesday, so that I can go ahead and grade. School closes on Wednesday. That would mean I'd have a marathon to do to correct and get things in by Wednesday. So I really need you. I'm giving myself just one day to do all the correcting. I'm giving you as much time as possible to submit. Understand, Jaya?
Yes, sir.
All right, then. Any questions? Because I'd like to just stop and post the video. But any questions before we end class?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So we're going to stop the recording.